From hanging with Tony Hawk to touring the nation, these dudes are on a relentless search for their little piece of paradise. The psychedelic pop rock group Sweettalker has cut their losses and are finally feeling the freedom of being unchained. Get ready for some good vibes and some quick wit. Today on Marquee Backstage, this is Sweettalker.
Till the sun comes up. Night and day makes no difference either way. Cast a shadow from my dream, change the shape of the things I see.
All right, Sweettalker. Let's do a little roll call.
All right.
Starting with you.
David.
Ryan.
Chris. Hayden.
Here.
Here.
I'm Julie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to Marquee Backstage.
Good to be here.
Excited for a little sweet talk with you guys today. Tell us how Sweettalker came to be.
Well, Sweettalker came to be in the year 2015, and Ryan and I and Hayden were all kind of friends because we were all playing in bands before that.
Kind of friends, though.
Yeah, kind of friends. Distant friends.
At best.
Yeah.
Acquaintances.
They're
Yeah.
all right.
And Ryan and Hayden had moved to Nashville, and I was on my way there, and I moved to town. Ryan's like, I got an extra room, and I was looking for somewhere to go. You know, it was time for a change of scenery, and Ryan's like, I got a room to rent, come on. So I moved down to Nashville, and a year in, we're like, let's start a band. So we did. It was like 2015, and it wasn't short after that Hayden and Chris jumped on a few months later, and it's been fun ever since.
So in each of your hometowns, is there a venue, an iconic venue that is legendary in your mind? Because we are sitting in one for us here in Kentucky right now in the Capitol Arts Center. This venue has history. It has feeling and emotion when you're in it. But as young musicians, there had to have been a venue in your own hometown that you were like, man, I really want to be on that stage.
The bowling alley. It's where we won back-to-back Battle of the Bands, if you must know. And I also bowled 200-something that night. And
What was the name of the bowling alley?
greatest night of my life. What's that?
What was the name of the bowling?
The Strike Zone.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
the
city?
Strike Zone. Huh?
What city?
Rensselaer, Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, very small little town. And
There's
that
also
was
the
that
Ritz
and the Ritz Theater. They had a really cool theater, little tiny bit smaller than this one, and they did one of those things where they brought it back to life, and they were showing older movies, like reruns or classics and stuff. And I went in there and talked to them, and we promoted some shows there. That was fun.
Hayden, do you share the same venue of appeal?
Not really, because Ryan went, we're brothers, and he went away to school when I was like about 16. And so I was like, we'd shared a bedroom our whole lives, and like he's in South Carolina all of a sudden, and I'm in like this tiny corner town by myself. But we went to church, and there was this guy named Cecil Hutchins, and God rest his soul, he died last year. Great guy. But he had the biggest heart in the world, and he knew that I loved music, and so every weekend him and his wife would take me to this place called Sacred Grounds Coffee Shop in Lafayette, about 50 miles away. And I got to watch so much music, and I always wanted to be a musician. And I think it was really him and that place that I kind of aspired to, because he's the one that would always make sure I got there. And then probably like 3 to 4 years after that all died down and Ryan came back from college, we got to play it.
So any youthful memories that any of you have had and not shared with the other ones?
Whoa.
You spend a lot of time together in the van, so I'm sure these stories come out.
I shared a 10-year a memory on Facebook recently that I don't know if I've ever told you guys. Dave commented on it, but when I was on my first West Coast tour with BTA, we were in Portland, Oregon, and we're all kind of like skater kids, and there's a famous skate park underneath the Burnside Bridge in Portland called Burnside, and there's a whole cool history about it. Look it up, it's very, very neat. But so the next day we woke up early to hit Burnside before we had to leave to go to the next place. And I got out of the van and I was the last person out, and I walk up and Seth from BTA comes out to meet me, and he says, now don't freak out because it's probably not him, but go in there and tell me if you think that guy looks like Tony Hawk. And I walk in and I'm like, that is Tony Hawk.
That is Mr. Hawk himself.
So it was us and like a couple other skaters and Tony Hawk skateboarding at Burnside, which is a world famous skate park. I did say something to him. I was like, dude, huge fan. Awesome to just watch you skateboard, man.
I love your video games.
Yeah.
Did he say, hey, thanks, man?
You're
Yeah,
almost better than you are in video
super
games.
cool. He was like, yeah, thanks, man.
She lives alone, pays her rent with a job up the street, gets along with everybody she meets. She gets so lonely after a while, but she always seems to land on her feet. After work, by herself, she goes down to the bar, where you drink just to forget who you are. She's in love with a man who had left her 'cause she loved him too hard. Hey, when it rains and the skies have all turned to gray, don't you fear, don't you dare run away, 'cause tomorrow will bring up the sun, if tomorrow would ever come.
So tell us, who came up with the name Sweettalker?
My mother.
That is true.
Oh, tell me more.
Oh, just what you might imagine, just a little corn-fed rascal who would talk way too fast and try to talk my mom into letting me out of the house. And she would always tell me that I was a little sweet talker and that I was going to be either a lawyer or a car salesman. It's like, neither.
Did your mom know that she inspired the band name?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think she wasn't surprised. She probably was like, huh, when we told her what her band name was.
She's like, not surprised.
I want royalties.
But this is the mom that supported a son in really heavy music for some years, or supported how she might, bring pizza and the like. But
As moms do.
so when we told her we were starting a new thing and it was called Sweettalker, I think it probably put a little grin on her face. But
It was summer of 2015, and we were talking about starting this band. And Ryan and I had already started collecting band names just for fun on this list. And when I was like, Ryan, we should start a band, and it's going to be called Sweettalker, he was like, all right, I guess.
yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the name on
I
it.
was convinced. I was like, that's a great band name, so we're going to go with that for sure.
So tell me about the tour.
The Born to Lose tour?
Absolutely, Born to Lose tour.
Born to Lose as a song was written on a very lonely Christmas day. It's about working downtown, shredding your life away, being exhausted. So that was the whole idea of the song, and I loved it, and we put it on the EP, and then when it was time to kind of put together a tour for the first time back after, because we did all of 19, we basically did not play shows, and we just worked on our record, And then we were like, 2020 is our big year, Symmetry. and then so that got all screwed, and so we felt like just a bunch of losers. So go on tour, we just thought it would be appropriate to call it that.
And from the inception of the creation of the record and the music and the inspiration of where all the lyrics and all the stories come from, and having to wait.
Yeah,
And literally having to wait years with an S.
We were recording it because I was like, when we first initially started tracking everything, I specifically remember feeling that way. I was like, it's gonna be like a year and a half at the very least. And then it was actually like 2 years before anybody was gonna actually hear it. So you're like, holy cow, we're just gonna have to, I just had to forget about releasing it because it's like, it's gonna take forever before this stuff gets totally finished, you know?
Yeah.
If you listen to the recordings, they're dense with instrumentation, so it just took so long to finish it all. And by the time we had put it out, it was like, holy cow, this song is like years old and people are just now hearing it for the first time. It's a weird experience, you know, to really go through all that.
But does it feel a little bit new to you again? Like it's got its second
Seeing
life
people
now?
enjoy it and seeing people, like, even just the
reminds
few
you of
folks
it.
that have been exposed to it so far, like, it's been out for, you know, a few months, but yeah, it's great.
It's a whole new experience.
It's awesome. Yeah, it brings new life to it for sure.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Does the meaning behind some of the songs feel different now?
Yeah, one was written about, David started writing about an ex-girlfriend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, but then she and I worked it out. So
Is this Little Bird?
no, this is Goodbye. So it was about this like sort of breakup and this like ending of a thing, and then we worked it out, and you know the meaning of the song has been, it was fun because it was like we were finishing the song, and I was also working it out with her. But I was channeling these feelings of
I
like,
don't remember what that felt like.
yeah, this bridge of like, you know, just trying to come up with like how that felt. So that was fun. Little Bird is probably the oldest song. It's been around for 5 or 6 years, and
It's been reworked and rewritten, and you know, I
that
mean,
song
throughout
has
the years.
lyrical
Like, I
meaning.
love
Oh, do you really?
that
That's good.
song.
Well, I love that. I love that you love that. Yeah,
Tell me about it. I want to know.
It's about a relationship that, you know, in your 20s. I just moved to Nashville. It's one of those things you know, you make fast friends, and a year goes by and you don't realize it, and then just immaturity and just people not being ready and whatever, it just sort of fizzed out, and it didn't have a real reason why. And looking back now, it's, you know, a lot more clarity. But in the moment, you're like, you know, so we were happy together for a while. It's just that idea of like kind of making the most of the memory and saying, you know, there was a purpose there, even if it didn't last. You know, it taught me valuable things about being an adult and what it's like to be selfless and love someone and lose someone and all that stuff, you know.
Little bird with the one good wing. She couldn't much fly, but she sure could sing. She sang me to sleep when I started to fly. We was happy together for a while. That's right. And little bird out all alone. She didn't have much to call her own. She sang a song in my house, and we made a home. Yeah, we was happy together for a while. But right now she's halfway to California. To get too far to turn around. And right now she's wishing I didn't love her. She flew too high to come back down. Little bird. Little bird, not a cloud in the sky. She back on her feet, just learning to fly. We slept all day to say hi all night. Yeah, we was happy together for a while. And that's right, by now she's halfway to California. To get too far to turn around. And right now she's wishing too high to come back
So tell me the biggest challenges of balancing personal and professional life with you guys living life literally on the road together.
Well, they just totally mesh together. There's like no separation, right? So you just kind of have to like, sometimes you're just rolling with the punches, and sometimes you have to be there for the other guys in the group, you know, to try and just help console them or help them get through a difficult time. Sometimes, like, you know, we're helping each other fix our own cars and stuff like that, you know, or everything that happens to each of us affects the rest of everybody else in the group, you know, so.
Right. I think our biggest challenge is like what you go through. If you get this deep in any project, whether it's acting or music or what you all do, working closely with another person, you know, for the length of time we have, it's, yeah, like he said, everything just bleeds together, and, you know, you show up at practice and it's hard to check your whatever at the door, whether it's just being pissy that day or whether you're having real problems and, you know, something really went wrong and you've got band practice, but you've only got one practice before your show and there's no getting around it. It has to happen. And so it's the balance of, like, you know, let's say someone's having an issue and I'm kind of feeling like, okay, what should I say? Like, I'm torn between that tough love and that, all right, let's stop and let me rub your shoulders for a sec and let me ask you what's going on. And so I think I fail miserably sometimes, and I think other times it goes smooth, you know?
Yeah, it's
just always a new thing.
It seems like being in something like this, you know, whether it's music or business, there's like some character development happening at the same time because you're always being tried, right? It's like you're always having to learn to extend your patience even further than you thought possible.
Just moments of growth, though.
Big
I mean,
moments.
that is just human. That is just humanity.
Yeah.
And being okay to live each day and pull from it what you can is exactly where you should be.
Yeah.
And I love that you can see both sides.
It never stops either. Like, if I had any advice for, you know, dudes that are younger coming up, it's like, you know, when I was a kid thinking about bands that were touring and together, and I just thought, man, you guys have so much fun. You guys are hanging on the bus all the time. You're doing the thing. And life must be easy. You're getting paid, you know? But, yeah. There's always a challenge.
There is.
And when you're creating something with individuals with egos, and egos are necessary, they protect us in some ways, you know, but
they definitely get in the way sometimes
balance.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also mask insecurity.
They do. That's one of their main functions.
So too.
Which, I suppose that's all right.
It's life, you know. We all get up and we all live it every day, and there are things that we encounter that we don't expect. But you know that you've got a tribe behind you to get through this day, and tomorrow will be a new one.
You know, it's in the moment, it's a pain, and it hurts, and you're like, man, I wish it didn't have to be like this. But in reality, when you look back and you see all the things that you've overcome, you're kind of, at least I feel like I become grateful of the things that, you know, I've been able to use what would be the whetstone to the blade, right? You're sharpening your blade, you're becoming better, and you're getting your edge, and it's those daily things that just constantly just like make you, you know, it puts you on the edge a little bit, but you learn to walk yourself back from the ledge, and yeah, you take inventory of the entire day, you know, and you try to say, how can I do this better, or how can I make this easier for myself and everybody around me, you know? Yeah. And that is just a constant battle, but at the same time, you're just kind of grateful to have it, right? Because you're getting better. That's what really that's what really matters. You know?
things could have been. Still be biting my lip, always losing my grip. Yeah, I said it all, I won't say it again. Baby, cry, so goodbye. Whatever made you happy, whatever made you sad.